Hi, this is Matt from tracymatt.co.uk, and here I am looking at the Sony Xperia T. Do a quick unboxing video for you before we go and take a full review of the handset. Should point out this is probably a bit of a well-worn review unit. We aren't the first to actually get this one, but I'm going to do an unboxing video for you anyway, just to kind of show you what you get with the device when it's new. So we have the standard charger with the pull-out bit to actually make it slim enough to fit in the box. So it's a USB socket on one side and UK 3-pin plug. I have rubber grommet things for the headphones and a clip for clipping the headset on. The headphones themselves, or wired headset I should say, has a 4-pole 3.5mm jack on a right angle connector, and then there is an inline microphone with a simple push button, and then the headphones themselves, which are the sort of in-ear style headphones. I've used these before with other Sony headsets, handsets, phones, and they're reasonably good. There's a standard USB to micro USB sync charge cable, then the phone itself, then the startup guide, there's an important information guide, there is a SAR information guide, and some information there from 3, because it's actually, this handset comes from the guys over at 3 for us to do a review of the handset alongside the network. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. So take a look at the handset itself. It looks like, so I'm not the first person to actually use this handset, but we will do a review anyway. So on the front we have a forward-facing 1.3 megahertz, or 1.3 megapixel autofocus camera that does 720p video recording, which is obviously useful if you want to record yourself, then you can see yourself on the screen, or if you want to use video conferencing applications like Skype or something like that, you can do so. The display is a 4.55 inch display. It is 720 by 1280 pixels, so that's a reasonably high resolution display for the size of the screen, which is pretty good. Touch sensitive capacitive touch buttons with a scratch resistant glass. No design or no in the spec I've got here doesn't tell us that it's Gorilla Glass or anything like that. It just says it's scratch resistant, so one assumes it's sort of a brandless touch scratch resistant glass rather than Gorilla Glass from Corning. On the left hand side we have the micro USB connector for sync and charge. On the bottom, really nothing, not a great deal to see. There's a little hole there which is your microphone. On the right hand side there's a little bit more to see, so we have a dedicated camera button, an up and down volume control, and then a power button. There's a little cover that opens up to get us access to the SIM card, which is a micro SIM, and the micro SDHC memory card slot in there as well. So this does support up to 32 gig micro SDHC memory cards in there, so I'll just close it up like so. On the top we have the 3.5mm headphone connector for obviously using your own headphones, or indeed the wired headset that comes with it, and another hole which is an additional microphone, helps for noise cancellation and the like. The back cover doesn't come off on this handset, and you'll notice it has got this sort of curved back. It's curved in the reverse of many of the other handsets that you will see. Many other handsets will dome the other way. This goes narrower in the middle. It does give it the appearance of being a bit of a chunky monkey, certainly on the bottom there and the top. It does seem a bit chunky, I think, and leading the design to seem and feel a bit, I think, chunkier than perhaps is necessary. The curve of the back going in that direction seemed a little bit strange. If you look in the middle it seems fairly slim, but you look at the edges, it's a bit chunky. But there you go, that's obviously a design choice that they've made there. The back is sort of a somewhat plasticky textured finish, which does mean that it doesn't show the fingerprints quite so much as, say, a glossy finish plastic on the back. It does mean it's sort of a bit more textured, means it's a little bit nicer to hold as well, a little bit less slippery. NFC is built into this as well. The camera on the back is actually a staggering 13 megapixel autofocus camera with single LED flash. I find it a little bit strange that it's such a tiny LED with such a great big sensor, and only a single LED. But there you go. That's just a design decision there as well, I guess. But decent looking sort of handset. So it just does seem a little bit of a chunky monkey. and already you can see how much the screen is picking up the fingerprints. It really is a fingerprint magnet. I mean, all of these glossy screens are, and let's just give that a quick wipe on the old trousers and see if that makes much difference. Really it doesn't. So it definitely seems to be one of those that screens that it's strange that some screens just, you know, despite what they're made of and all being pretty much made of glass, and I, you know, respect that they've all got different coatings and so on, but some just seem to be so much worse at picking up fingerprints than others. But we'll just try and push past that, and let's just power up. And while I do so, let me just talk about the rest of the spec. 129mm from top to bottom, 67.3 wide, and 9.2 is quoted as being the thickness. I guess that's at the thicker ends of the handset there. In terms of the weight, it's actually not that heavy, 139 grams, and I think the design does lead it to be feel a little bit lighter, and the fact that it's a bigger handset, it sort of spreads that weight over the palm of your hand a little bit more. It doesn't feel all that heavy. 139 grams, I suppose, is, yeah, it's kind of on the upper end at the moment. I mean, many handsets are actually coming in sub 100 grams, so perhaps it is a little bit heavy. The touch capacitive screen does support multi-touch, and up to 4 fingers can be detected on the screen at any one time for multi-touch applications, so that's kind of cool. And being a Sony handset, an Xperia handset, it does have the Timescape user interface. Micro SD, as I mentioned, supports up to 32 gig. This model has 16 gig of internal ROM or internal storage and 1 gig of RAM. Has Wi-Fi supporting 802.11bg and then standards, Wi-Fi Direct, and DLNA support and Wi-Fi hotspot modes. Bluetooth 3.1 with A2DP support, and the video, the camera on the back does support 1080p video recording, and the one on the front does 720p video recording. That's pretty cool. We have a dual-core 1.5 GHz Crate processor with a Adreno 225 GPU, FM radio, and a GPS with assisted GPS support and all that kind of jazz as well. So this one's on, as I say, on the 3 network. We're actually picking up a bit of HSDPA plus there at top in terms of what we've got there. So let's go ahead and set up. English United Kingdom, yes. And we'll get through this as quickly as possible. So mobile network and Wi-Fi. Time. In fact, let's go ahead and connect to a wireless network. Save us a little bit of time. The display isn't all that bright. Hopefully we can turn that up because it seems a little bit dim. So let's go and join the wireless network. As you can see there, we've got an unusual, slightly unusual keyboard with, you can personalise. That's interesting. We'll do that another time, but let's go and join that. And there we go, we are connected to the Wi-Fi network. So we're done. Let's go next, and we can set up all of our services here for Google and Facebook and Exchange Active Sync and all that kind of stuff. We're going to skip that for now. Let's skip synchronization. And contacts. And there we go. So 8 steps, not so bad. Doesn't take long to get through. So we start, as you can see there, we are in at the Timescape user interface. Now the first thing I want to go and do actually is pop into the settings menu, oops, and see if we can turn up that display brightness. So let's go ahead and find settings, and where are we? It must be here somewhere. Oops. Settings, there we go. Completely overlooked it. Right, okay, so let's go and look at display, there we go, brightness, and pop that right up to the maximum. There we go, that's much better, certainly for the fact I'm doing a video recording here as well. So let's set that to maximum brightness. That's much better, much easier for us to see now. In fact, it's probably even slightly too bright, but we'll live with that nevertheless. So, as I say, we've got the Timescape user interface. swipe backwards and forwards, and it's trying to load images from the camera. Search for music, we don't have anything on here at the moment. Got a Sony Select widget at the top there, and Amazon and eBay apps there. Friends and timescape feeds, weather information, and here we can actually turn other stuff. There we go, so we can actually do backlight control there as well, so that's in there as well. We can turn Wi-Fi on and off, loudspeaker, active sync, GPS, and plane modes and all that kind of stuff. We'll let the GPS be on. There we go. Synchronize, and yeah, flight modes, flight safe modes, that kind of stuff is in there as well. Back to the middle, and we have all the applications there. The display is really quite nice actually. It's just listed as being a standard TFT display. The spec that I've got here doesn't list it as being anything particularly special. It's not OLED or anything like that. It just lists it as being a TFT capacitive touch. Colours are really good and bright, and obviously being a 720 by 1080 pixel display, the resolution is really good, so the clarity of the text, and certainly where you've got the icons that are circular, means that it's really quite pretty. Let's just take a look at the web browser. Let's have a look at Chrome. So let's go to our site. There we go. Again, loading very fast. Disclosure here, obviously, that we're using Wi-Fi and a broadband connection, but it just does give you an indication of how quick the page loads and renders on a decent connection. So that's looking quite nice. We can zoom in and zoom out. Text is really quite clear, and display does rotate really quite quickly without too much lag. And as I say, because it's a high-res display, text is really quite gorgeous. Even the really small stuff at the top here is, I can read at I'm probably about 2 foot to 18 inches away from the screen, my eyes, and that's really easy to read. And the colours are really quite good. So the display, I'm very impressed with actually. The quality of the display is very nice. Let's see if that. Let's have a look at YouTube. And we'll do a search for my channel, which is Leo D. Let's see what comes up. And there we go. So let's pick something. Well, this is that's a year ago. So the Xperia Play. Now starts off with an advert, but it started playing pretty quickly, and let's do that. There we go. So it's working quite nicely. Again, the colour is really rich. Very impressed. I think they've just boosted the colour of the display, and it's looking quite nice. We can pull down at the top. We've got notifications from 3 at the top there as well, and we can do things like turning off Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff at the top there too. Back into the settings at the bottom, or sorry, applications. Let's see what else we've got. So we've got Google Search, 3 Music, WhatsApp's pre-installed, got Gun Brothers, there's some Mark III icons there as well. Cafe security is already there, so that's quite good. Setup guide, the standard web browser, some other bits and pieces there as well. I'm going to pop into the Play Store and use an existing account to download a copy of Quadrant so that we can actually do a quick benchmark. So let's just let that sign in. There we go. Do a quick search for. There we go. So this will give us the ability to do a quick benchmark on this handset. 1.5 GHz processor should perform pretty good, I would have thought. So let's just let that install and then open. I'm on a full benchmark, and let's see how that performs. Just gives us a little bit of an indicator as to how well this is doing against other handsets that we've looked at recently. A couple of days ago we looked at the HTC One SV, which had a benchmark score of almost 5,000 overall. So let's see how this one performs. In theory this should be faster because it's a 1.5 GHz processor, so just give us an idea of what's going on. So 60 frames a second there. 60, let's slow down around the corner, around 60-ish frames a second there. The quality of the display is brilliant actually. Certainly it is quite apparent on this benchmark video here as well. In 60 frames a second. It's pushing quite hard because obviously more pixels on the display. And there we go, we're at an end. There we go. Oh, okay, there's our results there at the top. Just over 5,000, which is a little bit perhaps surprising. Would have thought it would be a bit better than that, to be honest with you. The 1.5 GHz processor versus the 1.2 in the HTC One SV. But if we want the benchmark again, it will actually change. So it just gives you a little bit of an indication, not to read too much into that. Anyway, but there we go. That's a quick look at some of the features of the. Oh, actually, there's a couple of things. One thing that I have missed out is the camera. So let's see what the camera interface looks like. And that's really exciting. We'll put that there. But there you go. So camera interface. Well, it's not focusing too well there. It's really struggling with focus. Oh, there. It's picked it up now. And we can zoom with 2 fingers. That's pretty cool. So that's digital zoom. Switch between camera and still mode. Turn the flash, fill flash on, red eye reduction and fill flash off. Auto scene mode we can change. And other settings we can change there at the side as well. Resolution 13. There you go. So 13 megapixel mode. It's trying to do a face recognition there as well. Face detection rather, with that little yellow square. So not a bad camera interface there, and that's it quite quick. Okay, so it takes a picture pretty rapidly as well. That's quite good. And how do we get back out? Oh, there we go. So there we go, back out of there. And the other thing I just want to take a quick look at. Not in here, so where do we go? Let's just pop into one thing that we looked at a minute ago is the customize the keyboard. Oh, okay, so we can have full keyboard, we can have foam pad. Okay, there's different layouts. Typos automatically corrected. Okay, it allows us to actually mess around with the settings there for the different keyboard modes as well. So that's a quick look at the Sony Xperia T. We'll have a review for you over the coming weeks. In the meantime, if you want to follow us on Twitter, please do so. It's twitter.com/TracyandMatt or facebook.com/TracyandMatt.co.uk. If you want to ask any questions or interact with us, please do so. I'll be back soon with some more videos and reviews on TracyandMatt.co.uk. But for now, thanks for watching.